Hey everyone, this is Kevin, your entrepreneur, and Lyft is in the news about their autonomous cars feature, but not for the reasons you might think, and I've definitely got some mixed feelings about this article because a Lyft executive, or is it an executive? No, a strategy officer, I'm sorry, has basically claimed and confirmed what I suspected, that it will be at least a decade or so before autonomous vehicles are really a thing, and he listed a lot of the reasons why in this article for Business Insider. He's quoted saying, "There's going to be an opportunity for a lot of people in this ecosystem, but we're going to go through a gut-wrenching decade or so where everyone is jostling for a position," unquote. And as the article points out, it's not just about which rideshare companies bring autonomous vehicles to market first either. Kapoor thinks there's work to be done across every aspect of the industry, from insurance practices to government regulation. Take Google Maps, which Kapoor says is ripe for disruption. While Google's route planning software and panoramic street view made it a market leader for the past decade, autonomous vehicles need much more information than Google Maps provides. And I'm going to pause for a second and say that, yes, I agree. And let me do like a little bit of a exercise for you guys. For all of you who drive, how many of you have gotten like a ping where someone just like tapped the button to where they are, and it's in an apartment complex or something, and like you wind up here, but your rider's here, and there's a big wall here, so you got to enter through here. It's that happens quite a bit actually, and a driverless car can't be depending on information like that because the car will just go to here, and passenger's not there. Heck, they're not even part of the same complex, so that's one of the things he's talking about. Driverless cars need maps with information down to the centimeter, Kapoor said, which, again, I agree. Also, according to Kapoor, and this is, by the way, where Lyft is using its 800,000 drivers to gather driving data, which will be used to create high-definition maps for its autonomous vehicle unit. Standardization is also, actually, I'm going to pause for a second and let's just go over that. So basically, Lyft has basically confirmed that they are using the drivers and our habits to do a map system, find out how we drive, the most efficient ways that we drive these routes, and they're going to use them for their autonomous vehicles. So that's a little nefarious indeed. Continuing. Standardization is also a big concern, Kapoor said, particularly because anytime a new technology is introduced, autonomous vehicle companies must retrain and retest their vehicles for safety. It's one reason why Lyft has cozied up to Waymo for partnership. It means companies can try a lot of different technologies and approaches without fully committing. Quote, "The complexity and the lack of standards is causing a lot of vertical integrations and partnerships of, maybe I can use this technology," unquote. So, and the whole article can be read below, although I've pretty much covered the key things. So basically, here's what we know. We know that it's not just who gets the cars to the road first. It's who has the mapping system that everybody wants to use. It's who can provide the Linder technology, or not Linder, just the technology for the servers. The cars need to talk to each other. The roads and the regulators need to cooperate with each other. The insurance companies need to be in agreement of what this means. And I'm going to start commenting on autonomous vehicles because I've been reading articles about autonomous cars that pretty much show a very different light on the rosy future of these cars that are not Uber and Lyft related. So I don't think people really comment on them. And I admit I will probably be a little biased in cherry picking because I don't think these cars are reality. I don't see them happening. And it's not even that I don't see them happening. I don't see them happening for very good reasons. And I know some people feel like, yeah, they're the future and they're on the road now. You know what? That's fine. They can feel that way. And in fact, no, more power to you. I admit that the idea is exciting at the very least. It's an exciting idea, but there are real hurdles, and I will be talking about these hurdles that keep getting reported on, and yet I don't think we report on them because they're not directly related to Uber or Lyft, but I think, again, and I'd like to start branching my channel out into technology in general, so maybe this will be the next step. I'll start covering autonomous car news, whether, it's related to Uber and Lyft or not. But it's pretty interesting because here's a spokesperson for Lyft, and their goals are ultimately the same. They would like to replace the vast majority of their drivers with autonomous vehicles. That's just how they want to do it. And he's admitted, you know what? The future isn't who's going to get the car there first. And in fact, even when you get the car there first, there's all these things to consider, and it's just not going to work out. It's really who has the software mapping that is going to, basically decide how these cars run. And the Google Maps won't cut it. It's fine for us, but we can see the entrance and the exit and see where it's... We can see that when it's bringing us to Disneyland, you can't park on Harbor Boulevard. You have to go to the Woody and Friends or the Mickey and Friends parking lot. We know that as humans, where the computer might not know that. So, and of course, all the cars have to agree on the technology, and that's where it's going to get really complicated, because it kind of strikes to me that the only way the autonomous vehicles can run, even if you have different manufacturers making cars, that someone has to create the software that gives them the directions and where to go, all that, and how to talk to each other. And I think there could only be one of those for this to be working effectively. But that creates a monopoly of information, which governments, at least in theory, should be against. So, yeah, I think this guy from Lyft, very spot on. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. And, the best of luck to everyone. But I guess if you're a driver, you don't have to worry about losing your job anytime soon, because, and this is where Lyft is definitely a little different from Uber. I think because Lyft is so close to profitability, they don't need to pretend that this is going to happen soon. And they can say, we're working on it, but it's going to be a little while. Whereas Uber, well, you're losing $1.5 billion, more or less, every quarter. You need to do something to convince investors to keep pumping money into you. And, well, these cars, these flying cars, these driverless cars, that's the way you do it. Keep pumping in money. We're going for the future. Never mind that we don't have a business model that works now. But what do you folks think? I'd love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. And if you like the videos I make, consider becoming a Patreon member for as little as $1 a month. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.